Yahoo Finance is continuing its coverage here in San Francisco at the Goldman Sachs Communacopia Conference. Let's focus on the business of telecom. AT&T CEO John Stankey back with us. John, good to see you again. I have not seen you since the Invest Conference of last year, so welcome.
It's good to see you again, Brian. Nice to be back with you.
Likewise. So I like when you reported your earnings, you had your conference call, and you're like, we're going to talk about something called Gigapower in a few weeks at the Goldman Conference. You talked a little bit about it. What is Gigapower, and why is fiber so important to the AT&T business here?
Well, Gigapower is a way for us to extend the great fiber that we're building in our region, in our operating footprint, outside of it, and to use a partner to do it. So BlackRock is interested in investing in infrastructure. They saw a capable operator in our case. We came together, we put together a management team, they came with some financial backing, and we're now extending fiber outside of what used to be our traditional operating footprint. Allows us to go faster, build more homes. It's a shared risk model, shared return model as a result of that. It's a way to get the AT&T brand deeper out into the United States. And when we do that, when we get that fiber in place, it actually helps our wireless network because we got customers who want to buy both fiber and wireless together. The fiber product's so good, it elevates the capabilities of the brand in the market as a result of that. And it's really proving to be a pretty good model for us.
Is that the converged strategy you've been talking about? Because a lot of folks in the street are giving you high marks for focusing, I guess, both on fiber and the mobility play.
Yeah, I think we're at the front end of the converged strategy. The converged strategy today is a household that buys both fiber and wireless from us. When they do that, they churn less. They have greater lifetime value because of that. Their brand affinity goes up because they like the products together and the convenience of using them. Call it the second, third inning of converged is going to be, do the products work better together? And you're going to start to see that happen. So we're beginning to introduce, for example, wireless backup. So when your primary broadband connection goes out, we can roll it to wireless in the background until we fix it. Those kinds of things in that roadmap will ultimately add more value to the customer and give them more reasons to buy products together. And that's really what I see as kind of the next transition of converge.
How does this change the financial complexion of AT&T? I mean, more services, can you take some price?
Well, look, if you're offering a better product and you're offering better value, you should be able to command a premium on it. And the reality is right now, because we're penetrating and taking share, for example, in our fiber product, even though folks will tell you that it operates better, they have a higher affinity for it than any other offer in the market, it's a great product, but we're still selling kind of underneath what other people in the market are selling, which bodes well for the future, because after you get the customer, you bring them in, then you can obviously price to market, and we'll do that over time. But look, I think the important thing is, if you have the best product in the market, people see it that way, they're just going to stick with you and have a lot of loyalty toward it.
Does Verizon's play for Frontier, $20 billion, does that change the operating dynamics in the industry?
It doesn't change it for us. We're going to continue running the plays that we put in place, which is largely organic investment, for us to look at places where we can go in and build in our footprint where our brand does incredibly well, build it on a model. It's the same operating systems, the same infrastructure. Then when we do Gigapower, we go out and we build in places where it will help lift our wireless business, so we can be very strategic around where we want that footprint to go. And I like having that optionality. I like being able to control it ourselves. I prefer not to have to go ask regulatory permission every time I go do something. And by having that internal,
always a good thing.
For us, it's a good thing to be able to have those choices.
I remember last year when we had this conversation, and I can't believe it was a year ago, we talked a lot about Apple. I guess the iPhone last year was okay. I got an upgrade, but this year they did hint at more AI type of products. Does a new iPhone really move the needle at this point for an AT&T?
We'll see. I mean, we're going to find out whether it moves the needle for Apple. I mean, whether it's this version of the iPhone or the previous version of the iPhone, what we care is that there are phones out there connected to the network. That's kind of where we make our money, and we're kind of less focused on the particular version of the device that we see. But look, I think what we're going to see here is I'm maybe less of a viewer that there's going to be a big bang. Big bangs come like when we go from 4G to 5G and there's a new air interface and the phone's going to perform dramatically differently because of that. Software tends to be more iterative as opposed to hardware, and Apple has been a hardware company with a great software experience on top of it, but there are software features, I think, over time, they gain momentum as they get better and as people understand the use cases. Maybe we see that same thing with AI, that it's going to take a little bit of time for customers to understand how they use it, how they employ it, gain some affection for it. But I think software is great because it doesn't require you to spin hardware all the time. You can constantly introduce new releases at any given time. It iterates every couple of weeks. It can be a very powerful model. It's just less of a bang.
Yeah, everyone that I've talked to here so far, obviously the focus is so much on AI. You have Apple with AI products, Microsoft, Google, they're all doing amazing things. Does the AI revolution change, will it change AT&T, and if so, how?
Oh, I don't want to overhype it, but I think if you go back to 1998, you're too young to remember that. But
I was born in 82.
Yeah, if you go
I
back
remember.
to 1998,
come on, I know I look great, but I mean,
we were all sitting around saying, what's this thing called the internet?
Yeah.
And the internet bubble, it burst, everything was overhyped. Well, I think we sit here today, 25 years later, we probably don't say, well, the internet was overhyped. It fundamentally changed industry. It fundamentally changed how business models were structured. I think AI will have that same impact. It won't take 25 years for it to occur, but we're at one of these moments where we're at the front end of it. 10 years from now, we're going to say, what was life before AI? And so I think it's going to be hugely impactful, and it's going to be impactful to my business, how we operate it, how we support customers, how we engineer our products and services, how we price things, how we build product on top of the network. Those are all going to be meaningful things for AT&T. It will change us, and it will change every other company.
Of course, our thanks to John Stankey and Brian Sozzi for bringing us that interview.